Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Frank Granito joined in studio today with John Kovac and Kevin Coleman. We've got a preview of the boys semifinals in basketball coming up, and we'll be joined by the Greenwich ice hockey head coach Alex Lurshin of the conference champion girls Greenwich Cardinals. Boys, happy to have you both of you standing along here today.
Yeah, great. John and I getting a little close right now.
We are. We're very close.
Why didn't you let John talk first?
John, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a little rude.
It's like the two-headed monster over here.
We will be together again on Saturday when we've got the FCX Championship for boys hockey. But before we get to all that, let's go back to this past Saturday. We're going to catch up with the girls champion head coach, that is Alex Lurshin. Coach, thank you for taking time with us today. What a 48 hours you guys had. That big win Saturday over Darien, and then right back at it tomorrow. No rest for the Lady Cards.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on. Yeah, it was a pretty quick 48 hours. We had a team party Saturday night. The girls were relaxing. A couple of them fell asleep, actually. But it was a fun time, and we had a light practice Sunday morning and hit the bus yesterday to Simsbury.
Now, this is the first ever conference championship for Greenwich in girls hockey. What does this win mean to your program?
I think it restored some legitimacy to a program that, did suffer some down years, especially, around 2009, 2010. The numbers were light. So we talked all year about getting a banner up on the wall at Hamel. If you've been to Hamel, you'll see all the boys FCX championships and one state championship. And, our girls were hungry to get a banner up on the wall. So it's a great overall feeling for the program.
Coach John Kovac, you went into that program with a very young team against a three-time defending champ in Darien. What was your message to your girls before that championship game Saturday?
Well, I think you guys noted that our team came kind of hooting and hollering in the arena. They were blasting music, jogging around the rink. They were fired up to be there. I was happy to see that. It was a very different approach to the Darien girls. But in the locker room, we just talked about seizing the moment. I told them that they belong to be there and that they belong to be there all year and to just go out and, dictate the game and take it away from Darien.
Now, Coach, going into the third period, what was your message to the team? The game is still tied at that point. What are you saying in the locker room to your girls?
Well, it's funny, actually. A bunch of us forgot about the penalty, to be honest. We got caught up in the moment and, there was a lot of hype around that. Third period, we forgot about the penalty until we got back to the bench. So we just wanted to kill that penalty. But we were just saying, live in the moment, go take away that game. We just wanted to keep getting the puck deep and crash the net. And we had some nice goals by Ellsworth there and Kelly to close it out.
And both Jennifer Kelly and Riley Ellsworth have been so big for this team all year. And we've talked a lot with you about Jessica Ware. She was the tournament MVP, and what a stellar freshman season she's still having as you guys advance to the state semis. But she's not the only freshman. You've got Sydney Orzulik, Emily Bello, Katie Piotrowski, all starting in those top four defensive units. Anna Keaveney and Emma Wingrove playing up front. I mean, what is it about this freshman group that they were all able to handle substantial playing time in just their first year?
I know. It's a great group. They've got a number of years of youth hockey under their belts. The freshman D were sort of thrown into the fire from the beginning, but I think they've really handled it really well. They've played with a lot of composure. The forwards we've kind of eased into, as the years go along and given them more playing time, and they really seized the moment. I mean, Wingrove especially had a big goal against Hall Connard late in the game, and she had a goal against Duquesne at Hamel late in the season. So, and Anna Keaveney's played great as well. She's forechecking hard. She's a scrappy player. We're just thrilled for this group.
And it's not just the freshmen, though. Only one senior on the roster. You've got sophomores like Jen Kelly stepping up big. It's got to look very good for the program right now for being 5 years removed from being short on numbers to having the next couple of years comfortably in sight here.
Yeah, we're definitely pleased. We're going to keep going to work, and it's a group that loves playing hockey. They've got their own style in terms of how they approach games. I loved having a group that you don't have to motivate too hard. They always want to come to the rink. They always want to work their hardest. You just kind of you show them the reins and work them hard. So,
Coach, last night Haley Duffy had a hat trick in your 4-1 win over Simsbury. That was the 5 beating the 4 in the girls' quarterfinals. Haley Duffy really seems to be playing her best hockey in the postseason. What's been working for her these past 3 games?
I think she got some confidence, especially from that New Canaan game, scoring 2 goals within, 8 seconds?
8 seconds.
She's got a long stride. She's one of our best forecheckers. It was great to have her put the puck in the net a couple of times. She just had a game last night. It was great. Her grandfather was there. He lives up in the Simsbury area, so he got to see that. We're just thrilled for her, and we hope she keeps playing her best hockey.
And, we talked a lot about the depth of Darien during the season, Coach, and how it's been their biggest advantage over teams in the past. But right now, you have got 6 to 8, even 9 capable forwards playing for you, and they're all playing at such a high level. You're getting balanced scoring. That's got to be extremely pleasant for you heading deep into the postseason now.
Yeah. We had that game last night up in Simsbury, and it took a little while to get us going. The first couple of periods, we showed signs of obvious fatigue. But once we settled in, we came out and had a great third period. I'm just going to keep letting the forwards go, and we're going to mix them up a little bit. And it's been great. We've been getting balanced scoring, as you said, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens Thursday.
Now, we saw 2 weeks ago when you played against Simsbury, you guys lost 2-1, and that was in a week Greenwich schools were on break. You felt the girls have been a little flat and tired. What's been the key in this turnaround now as the Cardinals have looked dominant over the past 3 games?
You're right. You hit the nail on the head. I think that vacation week set us back a little bit. The girls get out of their routine. They sleep in a little bit later. You guys did our Monday practice from Hamel. You kind of saw firsthand it wasn't our best practice. And then we took us half the game to wake up the next day against Fairfield. So I think just getting back into the routine, a regular practice times, that's worked wonders for our team. So,
Coach, will you be scouting Fairfield Hamden tonight?
I'd like to. I think I have a youth practice though. So we saw Hamden earlier in the year, and we tied them 1-1 right off the bat up at the Lou, and we've seen Fairfield twice now. So who knows? I might get up there and watch that game.
Do you have a preference who you're going to fall in line with there? Would you like to see Fairfield again one more time, or are you ready to move on from the FCX?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a preference. Each team has their strengths. So, I don't know if you can pick one there. Both teams are very balanced. You've seen firsthand Fairfield can skate with anyone, and that Hamden team is loaded with talent too. So, it's kind of like pick your poison.
And Coach, we've just learned you're going to be named Coach of the Year in the FCX. We want to offer our congratulations on that.
Thank you.
We want to congratulate you again on that FCX championship. So much fun. We're rooting for the Cardinals heading into states, and we want to wish you the best of luck in the semifinals.
Thanks very much. It's been a complete team effort with Mike Aronson and Kayla Grace, my assistant coaches, and our girls are fired up. Right after that FCX championship, they were talking states. So. We've got a 100 group, and we're going to look to do our best on Thursday.
We'll keep an eye out for the Cardinals on Thursday. Coach, thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
That was the head coach of the Greenwich Cardinals, Alex Lurchin. They are the girls hockey FCX champions. We want to thank the Greenwich Sentinel, those pictures courtesy of the Sentinel there. And he's right. It's a very hungry group, John. We got that sense in pregame when you saw the Cardinals around the rink on Saturday.
I think I was the one that made the comment that he referred to, that there was a lot of hooting and hollering, and Darien very quiet, businesslike, gathered around, and they played off that emotion for 45 minutes, and they kept it close. They did what they had to do, and then finally broke through late.
And Kevin, you're talking about a program here that's missed out on the FCX playoffs the last 2 years. just 6-7 years ago, they were in jeopardy of not having a team anymore. I think it's very deserving that he's won the FCI Coach of the Year.
It is. He had an excellent year, and he's been so great to us too, Frank. If you think about it, and John, going to his broadcasts, he's been so good to us. And something that I took away from that interview is that they won the FCI championship, and already they're talking about state. This is a hungry team. I think if you're a head coach, especially in hockey, you love to see that out of your girls.
Should be an exciting finish to the year for the Greenwich Cardinals. They'll play again in the semis on Thursday. We're going to step aside. John, I want to thank you for coming in. When we get back, Donna Lang is going to join us, and we'll preview tonight's 2 boys basketball semifinal games on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at StonesThrowCT.com. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Thank you again to Coach Lershin, and we wish them the best of luck. Of course, Fairfield in action tonight in the girls' semifinals. We want to wish them luck as well against number 1 Hamden. Joining Kevin and myself now on Nutmeg Sports, we've got Donna Lane back in. We're going to talk about the semifinals for boys hoops tonight. First game, number 3 Ridgefield, number 7 Danbury. Initial thoughts on this one with Danbury, really the only big upset we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought Danbury played really, really well on Saturday against Darien, a team coming in who was playing great basketball. This is a Danbury team that, and you look at it both sides, I think these are 2 teams that are back fully healthy now, and I think this is the matchup that both these teams finally get to see each other both healthy. If you go back to the regular season, Danbury beat Ridgefield at home, and not everyone was healthy on either squad. So this is, the time where, both teams are healthy, and I think you're going to see a great game.
Well, Frank, how long has it been now? We've been saying for 2 months. What will Danbury be like if they're ever healthy? Here they are. They're healthy, and I have to agree with Kevin. I think we're looking at an exceptional game. The key is going to be, can Danbury close the game out? Can they finish? Can they finish strongly as they've started? So that's gonna be the key, I think.
We saw these teams play on January 10th. Danbury, a comfortable win, 63-49. That was the first game that Brendan McNamara missed during that injury leave. He had suffered a foot injury during practice leading up to the week. I think we saw Ridgefield struggle that night, trying to get an offensive groove down, not sure who to go to for scoring. Denali Burton went for 15, Chris Torres for 14. Kevin, one of the big things in this game, obviously Ridgefield gets McNamara Mac. It's a different matchup, but can Ladowdy handle Denali Burton? Because that was not the case the first time around.
Listen, Denali Burton is a great player. You saw it even in the quarterfinal game, a big slam dunk that we've shown here, even on the social media. We posted it up, and he was excellent. He's been great for this Danbury Hatter team as well. And the great thing for Danbury is they get him back too. And he's just a terrific basketball player, great athlete. He's got the size down low. Frank, that's going to be a tough matchup, not only for Ladowdy, but for Burton as well. Ladowdy, if you remember, this guy is also great down low as well, and he has a little bit of a height advantage over Burton. So that matchup down low is really intriguing. Titus James down low as well. Can the Ridgefield Tigers contain him? I'm sure Chris Longo may have to guard him a couple times. But yeah, Ladowdy and Burton, that's going to be a fun matchup.
Well, and I was going to say that you had said can he handle him, and I think to a certain extent he doesn't have to, at least not like he did in the previous game, because as you mentioned, you get McNamara back, another 6'6" forward in the paint. That second big man coming on the help could be a tremendous factor in the game.
Ladowdy, one of the bigger players in the conference, but I think the length of Ridgefield will be a major advantage. On the opposite side, for Danbury, you're talking about the depth at the guard position. They go 4 or 5 deep with very capable shooters and ball handlers. If you have to give an advantage one way or the other, which would you rather have in your back pocket?
I think it's got to be Danbury. After what I saw with Javon Hernandez in the quarterfinals, I mean, he played out of his mind. 21 points, got a chance to talk to him after the game. This guy's a terrific athlete, terrific basketball player. He runs the offense, great ball handling skills. This is a Danbury team that has really done a really good job of moving the ball around, especially late in the season, getting good ball movement, getting some good screens. This is a team that, with guard play is a little bit stronger than Ridgefield does, but again, it's close. I give the advantage to Danbury, but just by a hair.
I'm going to disagree there. Give me the Ridgefield tree line. Give me the 6'6", 6'8" players across the baseline. And the only caveat being, if those Danbury guards, and there are a lot of them, and they handle the ball well, if they penetrate into the paint and start drawing fouls, then Ridgefield's in trouble. But no, I will take the size in the paint in a high school matchup like this. Give me the big guys.
And it's very interesting because when you think about the way the game of basketball is shifting, the popular trend is those guards who can shoot it from anywhere in the gym. It's the way the NBA game, the college game is going. The high school level is built around, though, being able to feed a big man down low, especially without a shot clock. You can set up possessions to have success down in the paint, which, if you ask Trinity Catholic, though, isn't always the case. You see rebounding go wrong, and all of a sudden a 14-point lead has lost. If you had to pick an X factor or impact players for this game, who's going to make the biggest difference for both sides here?
I think it's going to be Chris Torres. If you go back to that Ridgefield-Danbury game at Danbury, I thought he made the difference in that game. He was just, you could tell, he was the most hungry on the court. He was playing tough-nosed defense, getting key steals. But it was also a factor on the offensive ball. This guy was nailing some three-pointers, driving the lane, drawing some fouls, going to the line. I thought Chris Torres, and I think he still will be a factor in this game. And Frank, you're absolutely right what you just said. We live in a world where the three-point game is taking over basketball. And you're right, the high school level, they still utilize the big man with no shot clocks. So will Ridgefield utilize that down low? Will Danbury utilize that down low? These two teams can shoot, but they also kick it down low.
I'm going to go with, as an X factor, I'm going to go with rebounding. Can Danbury keep Ridgefield off the glass? On average, the Ridgefield's going to have about a 4-inch height advantage across the 3 forward positions, and that's going to be key there. I think if Ridgefield can get on the offensive boards, get those second chance points with their big guys, that to me is the key factor in the game.
I think if I was going to give you a player from each side here, I would go Chris Longo for Ridgefield. And obviously we've seen how effective Chris is on the basketball court. My reasoning here, Here's a guy who went all the way to the state championship in football. They had that great season, just missing out on the FCAC. I think that playoff experience and that loss to Darien in the state championship has got a little extra hunger and drive in Longo. He might be able to lead the Tigers if things go sour tonight. For Danbury, I'm going to go with Cameron Snow. I like the way he handles the ball. He's a very quiet player when you think about the effectiveness of some of their bigs or those traditional guards with Hernandez as Torres. Snow shoots the ball very well from the mid-range and three. I think he's due for a big game, and if Danbury wins, it's because Cameron Snow gets it done tonight.
Listen, I think what's great about these 4 games is we could go on all day picking X factors. There's so many good players. You know, you mentioned Chris Longo. That's a great pick. Cameron Snow, another great pick. Rebounding, a great pick. There's so many little X factors that are going to go into these 4 games, not just Ridgefield Danbury, that make this Final Four, like, you know, semifinals tonight, so much fun, so intriguing for fans to watch, not only on the network, but who are going to be at the game as well. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better Final Four of 4 teams that deserve to be here.
Yeah, and I was going to add on to that. I was looking at the the breakdown in the brackets, and I thought to myself, either way, the finals could work out. Any of the possibilities is a fascinating game. That's the great thing to look at. That I'm looking at these 2 semis tonight, and no matter what, I think we've also got a great final.
It should be a lot of fun. So that's game number 1. Danbury and Ridgefield tipping off at 6 o'clock as the battle for Route 7 heads to the postseason. We're going to take one more break here on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, Wilton and Trumbull will preview semifinal number 2 on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovac. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Back on the HAN Network, Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman, and Donald Eng looking at the second semifinal tonight. The number 1 seeded Trumbull Eagles, the number 5 Wilton Warriors. Remember, Wilton, for the majority of the season, were the top team in the conference. They started the year 10-0, their first loss of the season to Trinity. Then the pieces started to fall apart a little bit. February 10th, they fell in overtime to Trumbull, 54-50. The biggest difference in this game, Jack Williams did not play. How important and how much of a difference does Jack Williams make to this Warriors lineup, Kevin?
Well, Frank, you saw it on Saturday against Trinity Catholic. He was the difference. He had some very clutch shots. You know, they were down 14, coming back in that fourth quarter. You weren't sure if they were going to make that comeback. Jack Williams on the floor, they made that comeback. He talk about ice in his veins. He hit some clutch shots, some off-balance shots, too, that I didn't think were going to go in. And they went in, and I think also it had a lot to do with the fans. I thought the Wilton fan base really showed up really well on Saturday. They were behind this team. This Wilton team doesn't give up. And if Trumbull gets out to a pretty comfortable lead, they need to keep that in mind, because Trinity looked like they were pretty comfortable, and then bang, right, as you saw, Wilton came back.
And the big thing for Trinity in that comeback was the turnovers late, because, Don, if a team can get up on Trinity, there's that complacentness of let's slow the game down. Longer possessions, no shot clock. We can keep them away from running in transition. But for the Warriors, if they're ever down, that ability to run in transition, they can go on a 6, 8, 10-0 run within a matter of 90 seconds or so, and it allows them to always be within reach in a game.
No, it absolutely does, and not to contradict everything I said in the previous segment, but in this case, when it comes to Wilton, that guard play and around the perimeter comes into be a factor, because Wilton, more than any team I've seen this year, has the ability. They can hit 4 3-pointers in a row, and your 6-point lead becomes a 6-point deficit in about a minute and a half, and that's the key, particularly with Jack Williams back. That I think is a tremendous factor for Wilton.
And you're talking about a Wilton team that's got 2 players maybe over 6'3", but there are 5 guards on the floor who shoot the ball like guards, handle the ball like guards, rebound like forwards. Drew Connolly was phenomenal, 13 rebounds in that last game, 6 of them offensive. It's an interesting matchup again because Trumbull, another one of those teams, Kev, very athletic, good with length. They're long players, but not one of those true power forward centers sitting there at 6'5", 6'6". Timon Williams has been huge of late. John Lynch has been great for the Eagles. Can the Warriors keep up on the glass with Trumbull?
This certainly can. I think both teams are excellent on the glass. I think the Warriors, like you mentioned, don't necessarily have the big height. This is a starting 5 that's really just shooting guards, but they are so physical, and that's why you saw them make that comeback. They were physical on the boards with Trinity, and they're also great at drawing offensive fouls. How many times did we see that? Trinity drove the lane, they committed offensive fouls, and Wilton got the ball back. They're also so physical down low, they'll box you out, and that's something that if you're Coach Garyak, you preach that in the offseason. And it even starts at a young age. Fundamental basketball is boxing someone out, even if they're bigger than you, and they do a great job at that. And Drew Connolly, again, he's been so clutch for this team. When Jack Williams was out, when Cronenberg was out, who was there to keep this Wilton team alive? It was Drew Connolly.
And it's interesting, Don, speaking with Coach Garyak, he talked about how they had to play a physical game against Trumbull. And it got into that physicality you saw. Dunks being thrown down, a lot of offensive fouls. One thing that stood out to me in the Trumbull-McMahon game, when McMahon went down big, they had success driving to the lane, drawing fouls, using the free throw line to get back in this game. Do we see a lot of penetrating kicks from the Wilton Warriors trying to find open threes? And how important are free throws in this game where Trumbull can get on a big run and close teams down defensively?
Well, I think that's going to be key for Wilton. If you can, getting into the paint, as we mentioned before, with Ridgefield running a traditional big man-oriented, almost 1990s style of basketball, Wilton essentially plays a 21st century style. You have a ball handler and you have 4 wings, basically, is how they like to play. And the other thing I was going to say is I don't think that the size disparity is going to be that pronounced simply because of the way these teams play. You don't see balls coming off the rim, softly from a post-up shot from 3 feet away. A 3-point shot coming off the rim is going to rebound a good 8 feet from the basket. That gives those smaller guys a chance to really use their quickness and athleticism and box out. The technique beats the proper technique in rebounding. I think Wilton holds their own.
X factors in this game tonight. Who do we keep an eye on?
Drew Connolly and Timon Williams.
Did I just you got. I was about to say you said Drew Connolly, and my first thought was Timon Williams. But I'm going to say the 3-pointers. Can Wilton shoot 45% from three. If they're falling, they win this game.
I think Johnny McElroy could play a huge role in this one. He does not need to score a lot, but he will run that offense at times, the quarterback of it. If Trumbull gets into a little bit of trouble, he's so strong defensively. For Wilton, Robert Herman. Keep an eye on the on the senior there. I just think that he's going to come in at some point in time to the middle, whether it's a big block, an offensive rebound. He is going to spark that Warrior offense when they need it. He's been great off the bench for Coach Garriak, and I think he steps up big tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned Herman. And how about Jack Wood? Those two really stuck out to me. You know, they're not really the type of players to add a lot of points to the stat sheet, but they put their body before the team, and that's something to me is way more important, than scoring 30 points a game. These guys lay it out on the line. They put their body first, and you talk about those two players. You talk about them, setting their feet and drawing offensive fouls. We saw the two of them hit the floor quite a bit, and Jack Wood, I got to give that man so much credit. He was limping off the floor at one point. I'm sure he was hurting, but this guy has a lot of heart. The two of them have a lot of heart, and this whole Wilton team will put their body before the team.
Right, and you mentioned earlier Wilton. The traditional Wilton now with the wing-oriented team. You said maybe two players over 6'3". Well, Herman, one of them. He is listed at 6'3". He's going to have to hold his own. If he can, it's going to be a good night for the Warriors.
Again, the junior, the one who sparked that huge comeback we saw earlier in the year against Ward, took a big offensive foul in the quarterfinals. In girls basketball, the first round of the Class Double L State Championship gets underway tonight. Just want to give you the FCX teams in action. Simsbury is at Norwalk. Greenwich is at Conard. Ridgefield is playing at Southington. Darien at Trumbull. Ward at Hamden. West Hill at Enfield. Danbury gets Hall. Wilton, New London, and Staples and Stamford. Those games at 7 o'clock. So best of luck to all of the girls teams that are in action tonight. That's going to do it for Nutmeg Sports. Kevin and I are back with you at 5:50 tonight. We'll have pregame for number 3 Ridgefield and number 7 Danbury in semifinal number 1 Trumbull, and number 5 Wilton. An expected 7:45 tip-off. A lot of fun today, boys. We're back at it tomorrow. Don, it's Wednesday, so we'll give you the day off. We'll see you on Thursday. For Don and Eng Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. You've been watching Nutmeg Sports only on the HAN Network.